Hi everyone, Nurse Chelsea here, and oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've done a YouTube video, but I'm back, a little bit better I guess. And I want to talk to you all about travel nursing. This makes my year mark since I've been a travel nurse, and I get so many questions and DMs, asking me all about my experience, so I'm going to try and answer all those questions right now. Alright, so the number one question I always get is, how much experience do I need to become a travel nurse? So the answer, I guess it's like more than one answer to that question. The first answer to that question is it really depends on the hospital itself. So a lot of hospitals, in general, they will want you to have at least 2 years of experience, and it has to be like specific to that specialty. But there are some agencies that will allow you, to come on board and travel with 1 year of experience. It's a little bit harder. You're gonna have to, search a little bit more. But it is possible because I did it. I did it with 1 year of experience. I had that in my mind. That was my goal when I started working. I said, I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to get complacent. I don't want them to try and make me a charge nurse or pull me into some position of leadership. Nope, I want to get my experience and I want to go travel. So that's what I did. One important thing to know is I went directly into the ICU as a new grad, and I started at a level 1 trauma center. So like your hospitals, it goes like level 1, level 2, level 3. As far as, my experience at that level 1 center, I saw a good bit of things. And when I started traveling, I knew I had the right amount of experience. I had seen a little bit of everything. So it made my transition much easier than if I had started at like an intermediate level, hospital, and trying to go to a hospital that was harder. I would have been a little bit more uncomfortable. So get your experience so you know what you're doing. So when you get in the door, you're good. The second thing I say is sign up with more than one agency. I was literally just signing up to be a travel nurse, and the next thing you know, I was signing up to be a frontliner. So I actually I signed up with American Mobile. They also go by like AMN, and I signed up with Aya. So it's completely free to create profiles with them, submit your resume, get on the phone with the recruiter, start talking to them, tell them kind of, where you want to go. They'll also tell you where they have openings. And yeah, just kind of, start getting a feel for the process. So I actually was signed up to go work in California. That's where I really wanted to go, was California. It was going to be outside of LA, and I was signed up with AMN. This was literally before COVID. So the contract was going to start like the last week in March, and then COVID started like the last week in March, like end of March. Yeah, I did not go through with that because when the crisis was, the whole pandemic was happening, everywhere wasn't hit as hard just yet. So even though California was getting hit, this particular part in California, I guess they hadn't really seen any cases. So they weren't gonna quite give crisis pay just yet. And I was starting to see all these other contracts pop up that were having crisis pay. So I'm like, if I can go and make over $3,000 a week working the same amount of hours and working day shift, I'm gonna do that. And this is like literally, very, very fresh, because California had just gotten hit. California was like one of the first places. So I ended up switching to Aya. So I didn't start the contract with AMN. I worked with Aya. I found a contract with them, got signed up with them. I actually didn't have any complaints. Everything was good. And this contract was literally right in LA, whereas the other one was like kind of like outskirts of LA. So I was able to be right in LA. So that's where I initially started my travel journey there. And the contract was, I think, a little over 4 weeks with the you had the option to extend. And that was another thing with the crisis assignments. A lot of them were much shorter. They were like 4 weeks at first, and then they were extending if they needed you, whereas normally a travel contract would be 8 to 13 weeks. So the 4-week contracts were actually really nice because with COVID, you were very, very tired. The money was good, but putting that mask on, like those patients, that was just a different type of beast. So that actually was nice that you had the option to work 4, and if you wanted to extend, you could. So Aya was the first agency I worked with. I would definitely recommend them. They also give like flight reimbursements. They help you with getting your license and things like that. So you really have. I ended up going to Miami. Miami, just love it, love it, love it. So I work with Snap Nurse in Miami. Snap Nurse is another pretty good agency. I didn't have an issue with Snap Nurse. They were fine with me. So I got signed up with them, and they actually reimbursed your flight. I think they gave up to $500 going and up to $500 going back for your airfare. And another thing that people like with Snap Nurse is you can get paid daily with them, but it does take a fee. So I just like opted in for the weekly pay. But if you wanted some money, you know, like right away after your shift, you could get your money right after your shift, because you uploaded your time card like every day. So I work with Snap Nurse in Miami. It was a day shift position as well. It was a COVID assignment, but everything was great. And another thing with COVID, they were providing housing. So a lot of times with travel nursing, you have to provide your own housing. So it's nice to, you know, have a buddy so you guys can travel together and, you know, split the housing. But with COVID, they were providing the housing. We had a hotel room at the Hilton. So literally like the Hilton was right here. You walked out the back of the Hilton and then you were at the hospital. So Miami was great. The staff, they were really, really nice. So no issues with Snap Nurse. I work with them. Just that one contract I did in Miami, I think I did like right at 4 weeks. And anyways, Miami was great. I had fun. So once I was in Miami, I really fell in love with it. And I've always, you know, loved Miami. I would visit a good bit, but it wasn't to a point that I was like, I just loved it even more when I was here. And I was like, oh, I'm about to move here. Like, I'm moving. And Miami's where I live now. So the other agency that I work with after Snap, I work with MedPro. I felt a little overwhelmed with the hospital, and I just felt like I needed a little bit of a break after seeing, you know, so much COVID. And like I said, I just felt like I needed a break. So the job with MedPro ended up being awesome. They're actually another good travel nurse company. And I was working with them at the University of Miami. So this was outside of the hospital, and they had like a system to where they were tracking students who had COVID. The students were having to get tested. If they did have COVID, we had to set up like a care plan for them, and we set up like, they had like a home health system. So it was just something that wasn't in the hospital, but it was still pretty good money. So I did that. My friends were telling me about Crucial staffing. So I ended up signing up with Crucial. Oh, Crucial's crazy with getting on this phone line. So Crucial is one of those agencies where you don't like technically like, you know, sign up. You don't have a recruiter. It's literally like you call in on the phone and hope that you can get through. Yeah, maybe around September, I went with my friend to Crucial. So she called in. She pretty much was able to three-way me in. We went to Texas. I went to Texas 3 different times. I didn't learn my lesson with him. So 3 different times I went. Once I was placed in El Paso. Another time I was in Midland. And another time I was in Brownsville, I think it was. The hospitals there definitely were not prepared for emergencies like that. One of the hospitals I went to was still doing paper charting. They did have a little bit of a computer system, but they were bridging over. So it was still a lot of things on paper. Intubating patients was crazy because it was just a lack of resources. I will just say that it was a lack of resources, but at the end of the day I held on. I had a goal to reach, and I reached my goal, and then I was like, that's it. They also use Meditech a lot, so that's another thing. A lot of the computer systems can be different, but Meditech, I was like, oh no, like it's ancient. I love Epic. So a lot of the places I went to did use Epic. One of the hospitals, actually 2 of the hospitals I went to used Cerner. Cerner's okay, but Epic's so much more user friendly. Like it's just click, click, click. It's so easy to use. So yeah, I did my time there, but Crucial's nice because they do provide you with the hotel room and transportation. Whereas a lot of places were just kind of doing the hotel room, or they were giving you a stipend for it, but Crucial did hotel and transportation. And they gave you a food per diem every week and all that good stuff. So I finished up with Crucial in December, and then in January we took a trip to the Maldives, and then got back, just kind of relaxed a little bit, and then I say the end of January I started signing up with a company called Caliburn. So my friends have been talking about Caliburn. I had never heard of them. They're also like an international company as well. But everyone was saying to start signing up with them early because it takes a while to go through like their credentialing process. So say with travel nursing, keep all your things like in one place. Have a file like on your phone or your computer that you have all your, your documents, your certifications, your immunizations, because you're constantly going to be sending those things in. So this was in New York. I went to Brooklyn. I stayed there for a month. The one thing I did really like about Caliburn, you had to give them 30 days, at least 30 days, but you did work six days a week. It was 6 out of 7. But I was like, I just did it with Crucial, so it was okay. They provided you with the hotel. I had a hotel at the Courtyard Marriott. They did give the food per diem again, like Crucial. And they provided transportation, but it was through Uber and Lyft. So you were signed up with their company account, and they gave you like a way you registered for it, and that's how you pretty much got to work. They paid for your transportation from the airport through that company account, even going home. So that was love for sure, because when I got to New York, those Ubers were like $150 to where I had to go. I was like, oh my God. You couldn't do any personal rides. It was literally just, work, hotel, or to the airport. But I mean, still, that was great that they paid for that. And also with Caliburn, if you fulfilled your time with them, when you got home, you got 2 weeks of quarantine pay. So I was able to sit home for 2 weeks and still get paid. So that was amazing. Apparently Crucial used to do that as well, but Crucial was taken over by a different company, so they stopped doing that. No real complaints. And so I did my 30 days. I did have the option to stay longer, but I ended up leaving because my birthday was coming up and I was just exhausted. 6 out of 7 is very tiring. Your body's not meant to do that. So do that, and then I was like, I have to take a break. That's not something that your body's meant to do long term. Like, you will crash, you will start to make mistakes, or just start to feel delusional. So you have to know your body and know your limits. And at that point, I was like, you know what? It's my birthday. I'm not missing my birthday. I had missed my birthday the previous year because of Miss Rona. So I'm like, no, I'm celebrating. I'm having fun. So I finished that contract the end of March, and I am chilling right now. Yeah. So I've been looking at like a strike assignment. I've actually been trying to get a vaccine contract through FEMA, but they keep pushing it back. I've signed up for it. They're pretty much like, oh yeah, when it starts, you got the job. But like I said, they keep pushing it back. But I think what they're kind of waiting for now, because most of America has gotten vaccinated, they reached the numbers of, people that they want to vaccinate. So I think what they're doing now is the trials on the children, so they can try and vaccinate kids before they go back to school. So I'm just gonna kind of chill a little bit till then, until something else comes about. I'm not like super pressed to get back in the hospital. I definitely made a lot of money, but I saved